I'm Harry Palin, and this is my product realisation proposal. So what am I doing? I'm looking at doing option C. I want to do a musical documentary on my idols, using backstage footage, interviews, and I want to incorporate facts about the bands into it, showing about, maybe why I like them, and why I consider them my idols in the first place. As I said, the theme is my idols. So like I said, it's what I like about them, facts about them, and I want to show off why I consider them my idols, and maybe make people think on their own sort of idols, think about who they enjoy in music, and yeah. I'm going to be doing a song for each of the artists, bands, or whatever, in the style of their music. And yeah, it will be, a few of the bands are like punk, but there's also a couple of others in there who aren't actually punk related at all. So bands I'd like to use: NoFX, Paul Weller, The Clash, the Sex Pistols, and the Dead Kennedys. As it says there, note. Not sure whether to do 5 3-minute songs for them, or do 4 and just take one out and do 4 longer songs. So the equipment, we're using Logic, but that's mainly just to input the drums in there on through using the piano roll or whatever, because I've got capabilities of recording the bass and guitar in my own free time at home, and I've got a bit of experience in doing that. Yeah, for some of the bits I may need to use Logic. Some of the bands do use trumpets and a horn section, and that's why I may need to input them there, because I don't know unless anybody on the course actually can play. I don't know. But yeah, and for the video I'll be using Modulate, which obviously will be having to do it up here because I don't have anything like that at home or anything. So for the visual content, I want to start off by using an album cover for each of the bands that shows, that I'm moving from one style to the other, like when we discussed with our first one, that it might be quite confusing with all most of the bands being punk, of how so it might be difficult to differentiate between the bands. So if I start with a different album cover for each one, of probably my favourite album by them, and maybe a little bit written over the top of that. Using clips of interviews, which shows first-hand reports on their live music, and the influences, what influences them themselves. And obviously, there's a lot of that on YouTube now that I can find out and edit down to little bits. I want backstage clips as well to be able to show, just show them doing their normal thing, sort of thing. Pictures, I want pictures to flash up every now and then, especially during the punky bits, just pictures flash up about stuff about the band and that. I'm also looking to incorporate things, they're not necessarily always to do with the band, but they're to do with the scene that they're in. So for instance, Clockwork Orange is a massive cult film in the punk scene. So I want to be using a few maybe little flashed up clips from that as well, because there's a few, a couple of the bands I've chosen actually, have songs that reference, the Clockwork Orange in itself. I also want to use band clips from them playing live, but I want them to quick, sharp, short, maybe 5-second bursts of one clip moving on to another one really quickly to fit the style of the music. Quite recently as well, I thought, I haven't put it on here, but I was wondering whether I could maybe incorporate it as, remember on top of the pops when they used to have the bands playing that, and then from the bottom would just pop up a little toolbar that said, oh, on this day they did this and this. Maybe doing something like that. I could maybe even incorporate, if I'm doing 5, maybe do a little countdown of the top 5 idols for this week or whatever. So what I've done so far is I've decided on the 4 or 5 bands, as you've just seen. I've started compiling videos and images for each of the bands, and I've started writing the accompanying songs. So I'm working with different styles because it's I'm not used to playing all of the styles, but I know enough about them to start working on them anyway and trying my arm at them. Time frames. Over Christmas, I want to write the main parts of the songs and hopefully get them finished, so that when I get back, because I'm not being able to take back all my setup and that, so when I get back I'll be able to just record straight away and get them done. Then I'll just have the video to work on, which I want to obviously get done before the second milestone, so I can have that just done. I want to get the songs finished by the first milestone, so all it is just working on the video. The problem is, like it says there, it was whether I need to record it or whether I'm able to input the drums in the software. If I needed to record it, obviously I'd have to approach a musician quite quickly and sort out getting the recording side of it done. But other than that, I don't really see many other problems until obviously I get right into it, and then I think the main problem with then will just be the syncing issue between the video and the music. And that's the end of my slideshow. Okay, so you're going to get all the music done first and then kind of edit the video to the music? Yeah, because with some of the songs that are quite fast paced with quick little changes and things, I'll be able to then sync up the video to those changes and make sure it works perfectly. Yeah. And also, like I say, have the, there'll be quite a bit in there where there's not necessarily much going on in the song that I can put out like the interview sort of style side of things, just a few little clips of them saying a few random bits from questions. Yeah. So you can record it all in your own time. You've got your own space to do all that. The bass all done by myself. That's all good. So if drums is your kind of the sticking point, you might want to use. We've got all the native instruments. They've got kind of quite good, realistic virtual drummers that you could potentially use. So if you've written your song. If you go into the Mac Suite or something, you can use that stuff and then you can basically bounce it as a stem and then you can take it home. Oh, that's brilliant. So it might be, rather than actually programming MIDI drums, it might be useful using these virtual drummer things. Okay. And have you decided yet how many of those bands you're going to do? I think it's... Because I think if I were to do, a 3-minute song for each sort of thing... it would be more than enough time for some of the bands, because obviously they are quite short, sharp, hard-hitting songs. But I was probably leaning towards maybe doing the 4, simply because obviously on the brief it said for that it's got to be about 15 minutes. So if I do exactly like 3 minutes, there's not going to be any like time just to quickly just put up the next thing, and it's going to have to go one after the other without much time to so I'm thinking of maybe leaning towards just doing the 4. And okay. So I've got a bit of time in between. And then you just need to make sure within it does come across that these are your idols, and if that's your kind of your overriding kind of theme. So obviously with a start and stuff like that. You don't need to do any recording as such. You've got all that at home. I've got all that. Okay. Okay, well, I'm guessing there is a lot of footage of these particular. There will be, won't they? So, but you need quite a bit of a variety, and especially if you're going to do these fast cuts. Have you got much video editing experience, or? Not really. Because it's, as I've said before, it's quite time consuming, especially if you're going to grab little cuts and stuff. But like I said, when I've been compiling these videos, I've got like the document of what videos I want, and then point to point, what I want to use from that, and then I'm going through, looking at that and going, right, well, that could work there with that. And so while writing this music over the Christmas, I suggest as much as you can is sourcing all this stuff. So when you've got it all ready to go, because it'll probably take you a bit longer than you might initially envisage. Right, okay, thank you very much.